or if you need any other questions that we are not going through. All right, so hi everybody. Hi. Hey guys. So I just kind of gathered all the questions that we got coming in through Anomaly and through the Facebook post. So I figured Dom and I are just kind of going to answer those questions. And then at the end, we could go through like individual sheets if you wanted to. And that's really it. So we're just going to kind of have like a more open discussion. It won't be so much of like a seminar format. Okay, so let's see. The first question was, okay, we'll save that one. Okay, how do I know how much protein is best, and is there such a thing as too much protein? Very good question.
How much protein is best? So really easy way to do this is to figure out what is our goal body weight, right? So what is our goal body weight, and then to eat that amount of protein in grams per day. So for example, if I want to weigh 150 pounds, I'm going to consume 150 grams of protein per day. Does that sound like a lot? Maybe, right? Compared to where you're currently at. But that is going to make sure that we are getting enough protein in to maintain, if not build, muscle. We'll get into later in these questions here. Muscle and building muscle and keeping muscle is going to be massively important as we age, as we want to see body composition changes, as we want to stay healthy. So that's the first question. Is there too much protein? Yeah, but I would be extremely surprised if you're getting it. And you would probably see that in ways of you going to the doctor, right? But there's a very good chance that you're not even coming anywhere near it. So.
Is anybody tracking their macros now or protein as is? Yeah? Are you guys kind of close to that number that Dom's talking about?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You're finding it hard to get up there to make it to that number? Not as hard as it was. Yeah. Chat out on protein. Right.
What are you at right now? Okay. Yeah. And you're getting close to it?
That's really good.
What are you tracking it on? Cool. Perfect. Is anyone else tracking their protein? What are we tracking on?
Pen and paper.
I'm using the Fitbit app.
Okay.
That's like a meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm only hitting like 90 on a good day, and I don't know if it's because I'm not tracking it right.
For sure.
But I feel like I'm hitting like 90 on a good day.
Well, how do you track it?
I put in like it has a scan app, so I can scan it.
We're talking about what kind of apps people use to track their macros right now, and if those numbers are anywhere close to their protein goals.
Yeah. So, hold on. That's a really good point. And this really depends on how far you want to get into tracking your protein. You could absolutely go that route. MyFitnessPal, Fitbit. You could probably find something that's relatively close. But if you want to be on point with it, I would weigh it in grams. And then you plug it into your app, whatever you're using, in grams. That is by far going to be the most accurate way to track it. And then after you do that, maybe for a week or two, you're going to be able to eyeball that like it.
Seems very tedious at first. But once you get going, it's going to be much easier. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, they have those now. When I bought it, it's there. That's a good one.
Cool. Do you have a question?
Oh, any of the apps that we just talked about?
Yeah.
I've always used MyFitnessPal and found that was very user friendly.
Yeah, same.
And always look for the X when they try to upgrade you.
Yeah.
They try to make you pay, and then you have to find the secret X to get out of that ad, and it's free.
There's no need for the
paid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know about the app.
They try to get you.
Fitbit, it calculates like your activity versus what you consumed, and it kind of tells you, oh, you're on target or you're low, you're not.
That's nice. Oh, look at that. Activity. That's good.
So I want to touch on something, not to interrupt, sorry, because she made a good point. She said, I'm not hitting my protein goal. I'm only getting to 90. So I think a really good way to make sure that you're going to hit your protein goal is just to set yourself up for success in the beginning of the day. Like start your day off with 30 to 50 grams of protein, right? So if you know, hey, I struggle day in and day out to get my protein in, have a little bit more in breakfast or after your workout. Make sure you front load your day so you're not playing catch up when you have to go pick up the kids and make the and run the errands.
Let's see if we can hear you, Fred.
I thought I'd jump in with that. I'm sorry, can you hear me or not?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. One of the things that I've done to make sure that I hit my protein goal is to use like a whey powder or something like that. So even though I have all my meals during the day and I'm using the Fitbit, my Fitness Pal, I'm measuring everything, I see myself short at the end of the day. I use a little whey powder. It's a little drink. So it's not like you're trying to eat a steak or something like that.
Right, yeah. Yep, we like that. I'm gonna mention that too. That's exactly it.
Why not? So what kind of protein sources are we eating? What kind of chicken? Okay, so that's a good point.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So pretty much she asked if she was to hit her protein number, correct me if I'm wrong, this is how I understood it. If she was to hit her protein number every day, she would be going over her calories as they are equated in a calorie deficit, correct? Yeah? Okay. So when you are in a calorie deficit, you are already playing with a deficit, right? I don't have as many calories to play with. So my protein sources, they need to be leaner. Because if you look at a protein source, like let's say a ribeye, great protein source, a lot of protein, but guess what? There's also a lot of fat. So it's very high in calories. Now, if I didn't need to be in a calorie deficit, that's a great option, right? But if I have minimal calories to play with, I need to make sure that every protein source I'm consuming is lean. Like we're talking, it is very, very little single digit fat in grams, okay? And so I think that maybe is like,
come on, Vinny.
maybe it's too much fat, right? Do you do the tuna?
That's interesting. He just said,
That's
you
not
know,
a good option.
when you have a ribeye,
further, but that's just
It's
a
a lot
roundabout
of-
way. Just look at your sources. If you run into the same issue, like I hit 150 grams of protein, but I'm going over my calories, somewhere down the line we're maybe consuming something that's higher in calorie. Not that it's bad, it's just maybe not on target.
So the problem I have is like I'll eat something that like I'll eat a hamburger patty with like 3 eggs, and then I'm full for the rest of the day. Like I can't even eat. Like it's just I'm so full, I can't even eat. So I'm like not getting my protein, but I can't consume any more.
Before we go to the fullness part, I just want to add one thing. Are you tracking as you're going throughout your day? That might be the struggle too. You might have to plan ahead so you're not trying to Tetris your numbers at the end of the day. I think too that might help a little bit. If you're like, okay, now I hit my protein, now all these things are connecting because you planned it and you're not stuck with 40 grams of protein and 0 carbs, fats at the end of the day. So just planning ahead might help a little bit with that. And then I think the fullness factor with you have to start where you're currently at. So this is the hardest part is if you're not used to having 90 grams of protein a day, you can't just dive right into it because you're going to feel it. You're going to feel heavier. You're going to feel more sluggish. You're going to feel like this is not attainable. So you kind of have to see where you've been, kind of like Adam had mentioned in the beginning, see where you were at for the first, week or so. You probably might have been half of that amount. So you have to start there and work up slowly rather than that big jump. Because with any sort of big jump, you're going to see some sort of influx on the scale. And then you're going to be like, that's not what I wanted to see. So you kind of always have to see where you're at right now and then slowly work your way up. Is that kind of what you did? Kind of just jumped right into the 90? So I think that might help to start. It's definitely will be a problem. Protein's hard to hit, and it's very filling. It's definitely too hard. Yeah. Yeah. I would consider it. Are you saying because it's easy to get down, like you're easier to get your macros there? Right. Yeah. It's not the best source to rely on, in my opinion. Because what, we kind of just use that in our body and then kind of pee it out, so it's not really doing what it's, the full effect of protein, collagen.
Collagen.
Yeah, so it's not giving you the full effect of like a meat or like a whey, sort of. What is that?
That's a perfect. That's a perfect.
Essential aminos. Those don't typically have protein. Yeah, those aren't typically protein heavy. They're more like BCAAs. They're more carbs than anything else.
Don't make it the ball.
Do you have one with the protein in it? Yeah, send me what it is.
Right.
That's fine though, as long as it has
It will
protein.
help, it will be beneficial, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna be
It's not collagen, so it's a
the
little
end all
different.
and be
It's a
all.
little different
Yeah.
source.
If you stack it up against the whey protein, that it's good for
Yeah,
other
it
things
won't
too,
hurt.
though.
Definitely
You
won't hurt.
know?
Definitely won't hurt.
Yeah. There was another good question. What did you? Oh, aminos. Okay.
Aminos.
Yeah.
And those are like minimal, like you said, 10 grams of protein maybe. Like the collagen advertises like 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
heavy on protein. It can't be too much.
Next
Cool.
question.
All right, protein. It's the hardest one. This one's easy. What's the best food to eat for breakfast to get you fueled for the day?
What are we doing
You've
today?
answered that plenty of times.
I guess it matters on what we're doing for the day.
Best breakfast foods to get you fueled.
Okay. Before a workout, after a workout. So if we are specifically talking, let's just say a small group workout, we're going to come in here and we're going to do strength training. I would recommend that you're consuming lean protein sources and simple carbohydrates. So like stuff that's going to digest quickly. For example, it could be tuna and a piece of fruit, protein shake and a piece of fruit, egg whites and sweet potato. Stuff that's not going to be super heavy. In addition to that, we don't want to consume a lot of fats before a workout because fats are going to be slower digesting. They're going to take longer to convert into energy. Carbohydrates, simple carbs like fruit, right? They can be converted and used quickly. Okay? Does that answer your question? I don't want to go super into that. You want to add anything?
No, I think it's also a personal preference. For a lot of people, like I can't work out, I can't eat before my workouts in the morning.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're a 5 a.m.er. I'm sure it's very hard to do that. So I think it's just personal preference of how you feel. I mean, as long as you're feeling properly after your workout, I think it's more important, especially for the early morning ones. You know?
So then that poses the question, what do I eat before a 5 a.m. workout? Well, your dinner the night before is going to be what you use for fuel at the 5 a.m. workout. So that is a much different conversation. That should be something that is balanced. I should have protein, carbs, and fats. Because now I'm going to sleep through the night, right? So I want that as balanced as possible so that I can use that for the evening because there will be enough time to digest and actually use that. Versus, okay, I'm coming to the 9 a.m. small group. I'm going to eat at 8 o'clock. That needs to be something lighter and easy to use.
Okay. Next one is what supplements are needed / could be essential? Never essential. Obviously,
Yeah.
these are just supplements to supplement your current routine, your current nutrition, right? I mean, what would you say essential?
Well, what do we take? Collagen, throw some at me. Protein powder, raise your hand. Probiotic, multivitamins, antioxidants.
What antioxidants?
The greens? Yeah.
The greens? Is that what you're saying? Young living.
Vitamin
Powder?
D. I would say vitamin D would be essential. Vitamin D would be an essential one.
Of course.
Magnesium could arguably be an essential one. With K. Yeah. Here's what I would say. Here's the biggest thing is if you are going to take vitamins and supplements outside of the norm, magnesium, fish oil, stuff like this, I would just go to the doctor and get your blood work done. What are you deficient in, right? I might be vitamin D deficient. She might be iron. Absolutely. Just cut right to the source and figure out what do I even need, right? Or else you might just pee that out. It's a waste of money. What I will say is everyone in this building and everyone in this room should be taking some form of protein powder. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
protein powder, or can it be the pre-made shakes? Is there a difference?
What pre-made shakes are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which ones are we drinking?
Like the ones you can get at the store. I can't
Like the
even
Fair
think
Premier
of
Life.
it.
Protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it says protein on there, 20 grams, 30 grams of protein.
I think that's another preference thing. I
Yeah.
think it's another preference thing. You know, I like them sometimes. Sometimes they do the trick. Sometimes I'm like, that's chemicals. That's a bottle of chemicals. You know, so it's like, kind of got to be picky.
So you gotta see what's in it.
Exactly. Of course, you want to go with the cleanest of ingredients. You know, when you choose anything.
And then do you choose with water? Because I do mine with coconut water.
Yeah,
Almond milk.
that sounds great.
Water makes me gag. I used to be able to do
Flavor,
it.
maybe.
I can't do it with water anymore. So you asked ready-made or like a protein powder. Here's how I look at it. This is my perspective on protein shakes in general. Protein shakes are fast food for health-conscious, busy adults. That's number one, first and foremost. Number two is a ready-made Fairlife, for example, protein shake better than a bag of Doritos? Yes. Is a Fairlife protein shake better than a whey protein like Hustle's protein? Where are you using it? Are you going to be on the go, jumping from kids' games to work? What is going to be more convenient for you? Again, circle back to the question, is it better than a bag of chips? Use Fairlife, use a ready-made. Am I at home? Do I have all the time in the world? Do I have access to my blender and powder? Use protein, right? I think it matters on what you have going on, and then just understand that you fit into the best case scenario.
I see your question here. Sorry.
Ooh. Protein bars are glorified candy bars.
That's
Let's just call it what it is. There are some clean ones though, and again, like, is it better than a bag of chips? When are we eating them? When are we using them? Are we on a road trip and I have to stop at a gas station? Do I have to pack something at a baseball game? Right? Fine. But am I going throughout my day when I have the ability to choose my options and I reach for a protein bar over a protein shake? Because in that case, I don't like them.
I think there's maybe like 3 grams of protein in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As you say, exactly. It's really high in fat because it's all peanuts. Yeah. And same thing like the perfect bars. They're really good at clean ingredients. They're just higher in certain macros,
What are our goals?
Yes.
Like I'm always going to reach for something that's 20 grams plus, ideally in protein. Will I have a 13-gram option? Sure, sometimes. But I personally would not use that. Now, if you have not eaten anything and you're going to get sick, eat it. But if we have options to have something heavier or higher in protein, I recommend something. For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, exactly. Convenience. Right.
Maybe just having some.
Versus like grabbing a kind bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No. So that brings us to our peanut butter question. Because gosh, peanut butter macros are so worth it. Duh.
In my eyes, absolutely.
Duh.
In my opinion. A long time ago.
What? Demonizing peanut butter? What'd you say?
I don't remember what it was. It was when we were at the old building still. But there's a lot of calories in peanut butter.
It is. You gotta be mindful about that.
So PB Fit, PB2, the peanut butter powder, if you like peanut butter, is a saving grace.
Yeah.
Saving grace.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're all the same. Maybe by 1 or 2. Maybe by 1 or 2 grams. It's not a very significant amount. Really quick, Cam had a question about creatine.
Yeah.
That's a supplement that she was really concerned about.
I think everyone to be on creatine. It's safe. It's the number one most researched supplement of all time. Super safe. Great for cognitive functioning. Great for building muscle, performance inside of the gym, preserving muscle. Like, absolutely take it. I would 100% recommend take it. Now, do I need to like do the loading? You'll hear people say I need to like creatine loads. You take a bunch at one time. No, just go the standard 5 grams a day. Just take it every day. Super safe. Will help indefinitely.
Is it creatine?
Creatine. And also too, if you get creatine, if you don't get it from here, make sure it says Crea Pure on it.
Pure.
Crea Pure. Yes. Preference.
I was just gonna say, it's also a preference thing.
Yeah.
Anthony doesn't eat every day until 7 p.m. and he likes that, you know, it's just kind of what works for him and his schedule. So what, do you find yourself like feeling funny when you go hours and hours without eating? Like, you think it's a blood sugar problem or,
Well, I think like for me, when I started losing, now I eat something every.
how often do we eat?
And it was, I guess, I don't want, I want my body to know that it's gonna take the fuel and to use it. I don't want it to store it because I need it tomorrow.
No, there's no optimal window unless you are specifically fasting. Like if you are dieting for the purpose of fasting, then that is like more optimal windows. When you're just doing like 3 to 4 hours in between, your body's not gonna be like, time to close, I'm not using this anymore, we're storing it as fat. Does that make sense? Kind of chime in with that? Unless you're in like a large 8 to 16-hour window.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've been to, I've done 2 seminars way back. There's something called the nutritional hierarchy, which is where things, the laws of nutrition, where they rank in importance. The first and foremost is like, can I actually stick into and adhere to something? So whatever I decide to follow, can I follow it for a long enough period of time to see results? The second thing is going to be like calories. How many calories am I consuming? Okay, because that's going to ultimately dictate, do I lose weight or do I gain weight? That's one, technically. Number 2 is going to be your macros. So that's going to be like protein, carbs, and fats. Okay. Then it's the micros. So all the little stuff that veggies are, fruits, right, and fats, all that good stuff. Okay, it matters. Then it's meal timing. So if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, I could eat whenever I want, and as long as I'm only consuming the right amount of calories that it puts me in a calorie deficit, you're good. Now, how you feel, save that question. Save that question. How you feel specifically if you go longer periods of time without eating, that's personal, right? You're a gym teacher, so you're coaching all the time, all day long. It might make sense for you to have food every 3-4 hours versus someone who is sits at a desk. They're not exerting as much energy. And also too, think about that. That's going to help them stay focused. You're eating and moving. So it's a personal, an individual situation.
Man, we should have Anthony here.
Anthony,
you're on.
Anthony, you're
She
on.
just asked about fasting. He would love to be here for this. He would love to sit down and talk to you about this.
What about it?
Every day, yes.
Every day.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
So let's he sit down. There he is. Yeah. Let's he sit down to bed at 7:30, comes down and starts eating.
Who's the question?
When what? He works out in the morning. Yeah.
So what, we just.
Since he's just been born, that's what he does.
That's one way to fast. There's a ton of different ways to fast. Fasting is essentially just a calorie restriction if you really want to get the nuts and bolts of it. Now, how do I implement my calorie restriction? It's a tool, right? It's a tool. It's a way for me to restrict calories so I lose weight. Anthony does 1 meal a day. He's a psychopath, if you ask me. I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. Now, I can go like 18 hours. I know Lisa's done 18 hours, right? So there's 2 meals a day. You skip breakfast, you do a lunch, you do a dinner. There's a lot of different ways to slice that. But what is the goal? Lose weight, manage your calories.
Have you tried it? Just thinking about it. Yeah, of course. Not the healthy way.
No.
Yeah. Anthony would love to talk to you about that.
It is.
Anthony would
It
love
is.
to talk to you about that. Yeah. Okay, great. You got to set up fast.
What's the question?
Keep going.
Never mind. Bye.
Eat on a workout day versus a not workout day. Like if you're taking the day off, right? And I just hear Jonathan telling me everything.
How do you eat on a workout day versus a non-workout day?
Good question. How confident are you in nutrition? How confident are you to execute a good day for you? Can you repeat a good day for you day in and day out? If you can, you can change it a little bit, but I would just, for simplicity's sake, keep it the same.
Regardless if you work out or not.
Yeah, keep it the same.
Okay.
Consistency is gonna be the best, especially when you're just trying to learn and figure it out and figure out what works for you. I wouldn't mess with different looking days.
And it kind of helps if you track it more so weekly instead of daily. So if you take your calories at the end of the week, it kind of like will all balance out. So you're not focused on doing that dip up and down daily. It's more so weekly.
Okay.
Another way to think about it. That question came up 3 times, so I was gonna. Do you have any more specific questions about what to eat after, before? Maybe like in the afternoon. Carbs or protein before? Both. And are you more so asking? I was gonna say, are you more so asking for the evening or your 5 a.m.s? 5 a.m.s we said was more preference. So I would suggest 90 minutes before your workout to consume that meal. Try to do it 90 minutes because then if you eat too close to your workout, then your body will be more concerned with digesting the food that you just ate rather than trying to add some muscle to you what you're trying to do with your muscle right there. So 90 minutes is the goal, and a carb and a protein.
And then if you're working out in the morning at 5 a.m., just make sure you eat something pretty balanced the night before.
Okay. Next question is meals in restaurants. How do we work around the meals in restaurants? Is that a lot of problem? Is that a lot of people's problems? No. Yes. Protein, veggies, right? You kind of got to stick to like a plan when you go in.
Look at the menu beforehand.
I was just gonna say, I kind of.
You should be doing that anyway. You should know exactly what you're getting at that table.
We did a lot of this with the challenge. People would send me their menus. Remember, hey, I'm going to this restaurant. Can you check it out for me? So it's all about being prepared. You're right. You got to look at the menu beforehand and see. You can't bring your own oil for them to cook with, so don't ask that because that's a weird TikTok trend going
I
around.
wouldn't do that.
It's a weird TikTok trend that people bring their own oil to restaurants now to have them cook it with.
It's gotta
I'm
be a
like,
sanitary issue.
that's weird. But you just gotta stick to close to the protein, the veggies as possible, and obviously like more so like a cleaner carb is what I would say. Cleaner carb as in like a potato or even rice. Simple. Simple is the key when you're going out. Salads, big chicken salads with all the veggies. Dressing on the side, always.
Dressing and sauces on the side.
Yes, dressing on the side, always. You control the amount, especially on olive oil. Dressing, always on the side.
You can order like Anthony and get extra servings of protein on the side too.
Yes. That's helpful.
Absolutely.
Yes, extra chicken. What else when it comes to restaurants? You just gotta be prepared. The alcohol,
What is that?
yes.
Don't go.
Don't go out. You gotta enjoy life. You
Yeah,
do.
but if you
You
have to
can't
go
be
out.
so restricted. The point of this is to try to make it into your lifestyle. You know, something that you could do every day for the rest of your life. This is a lifestyle. This is kind of how. This is exactly what we do. We go out. We eat. You know. Did you see the pizza that they were sharing? They were feeding each other.
Feeding each
They were
other.
feeding each other. We eat well. You know. Priceless. Yeah, so be prepared, focus on the simplicity of it,
Yeah.
and that's it. Anything else to that?
Next question. Anyone have one in the crowd here? That we've
Anybody?
not said?
Any specific protein powder recommendations? Just got that question. Anybody have a favorite protein powder? Anybody have a favorite protein powder? No. Clean. It's clean. I can't deny it. It's very clean ingredients. That's my favorite part about it. Is that it's clean.
I drink my morning coffee with that instead of creamer.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so I do my
Excellent.
protein powder and
That's
then
a great
I
idea.
do iced coffee and then I add that.
That's a
And
great
then
idea.
coffee and that, but then that I don't have any cream and sugar.
All right, Debbie, to answer your question, it's the hustle way.
Yeah, the hustle protein.
The hustle way.
That's what kills me is the coffee, the cream and sugar in my coffee.
Yeah.
All right, you want to do the big one? How to calculate your target daily goal. This is a tough one. How to calculate your target daily goal and then figure out your macro breakdowns from there. It's a tough one. Let's get into it. So I actually just, Bianca, you guys know Bianca, she just had a baby. She went right into macros, like right after she had the baby. She was like, I'm losing this weight. I'm so determined to lose this weight. So we talked about her macros and she was like stuck after like a month of doing it. She's already getting down on herself. And you know, I'm just like, oh my God, you just had a baby. Come on, stop it. She's like, no, I'm like, it's starting to come off. Like, what's the problem? So I looked at her macros and we literally tweaked her macros, I want to say by like 200 calories, and maybe just like her ratios were a little off with the protein, carbs, and fats. And ever since that weigh-in, she's lost like another 7 or 8 pounds. So it's like 1 or 2 calories can make a huge difference. Like if you're feeling kind of frustrated at the macros that you are at now, maybe you just need the smallest amount of tweak to kind of to get you moving in the right direction. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a major increase or decrease of any specific macro. The smallest things might work. And this another thing is it's individual. It's all an individual case. So the biggest tool that we have for you guys to use is your InBody sheets. And it's the best start that you could possibly have because it tells you your BMR. So if you guys have your InBody sheets, there's a section on the right where it says your BMR. So your BMR is how many calories that you're burning when you're doing absolutely nothing. You're sitting on the couch and you're just being a couch potato. That's how many calories that you're burning to stay exactly the same weight that you are right now. It doesn't take into consideration your workouts at Hustle. It doesn't take into consideration your daily house chores. You're walking up and down the stairs. Your extra, I don't know, maybe 500 to 700 calories a day that you might burn just moving, just doing things. You know, especially if you have an active job, that could be another 500 calories. Okay, so are we kind of on the same page with this? We'll start at your BMR. Start at your BMR. I always add 500 calories to that to start. This is like everybody's base. Start at 500 calories for the extra activity that you do in your day. That's, like I said, doing chores. It's not your workout. It's not your 500 calorie workout. You might not even burn 500 calories at a workout. So let's just do 500 calories on top of that. Go from there.
Keep going.
All right, so now you want to put yourself in a deficit. Okay, so you're at that number. The safest amount of weight to lose is a pound a week.
Yeah.
A pound a week. That's the general rule of thumb. So 1 pound of muscle weighs how many calories? 3,500 calories.
3,500.
All right, so 3,500 calories is if we do it by the week, okay? So you want to put yourself at a 500 calorie deficit each day to make it to that 3,500 calories at the end of the week. Does that make sense? Math, we're doing math. The math is coming out the means. So you want to put yourself at that deficit. So you added the 500, say you're at 2,000, your BMR, I'll keep it simple. You add 500 for your daily routine. Okay, so now we want to go in a deficit to get you that 1 pound a week. You're going to subtract that 500 again. So we're just going to be at that 2,000. Right, we're just going to be at that 2,000. This is like a safe, comfortable number. It's not for everybody. So that is how you get your calories. That's how you get your daily calories.
How do you get macros?
How do we get the macros now? We got to do a little math, a little bit more math here. All right, so let's keep it simple. We're at 2,000 calories. What I do when I get a new nutrition client, and I'm sure Dom does as well, is we take time to get to kind of know where you're at, what you've been eating, and we kind of work together with what your body is more sensitive to. Some people are more sensitive to carbs, some people are more sensitive to fats. But to start everybody out, we usually always picture a pie graph, balance it out with the carbs. So it's 33% carbs, protein, or grams of protein, 33% grams of carbs, 33% grams of fat. So everything is even here, right? My pie chart's even. So from here, I would start with my most important number, which would be protein. So I'm at 2,000 calories. I want to figure out how many grams of protein that I need out of that 2,000 calories. So there are how many calories in a gram of protein? 4 calories in a gram of protein. So I'm going to do 2,000 divided by 4. Am I speaking right? Let's do 2,000 divided by, that's 500. Nope, wait, I'm off. Let me think here.
So here's what I would have
2,000
done
calories.
is, and this is, I think she's not wrong for sure, she's right on the money, but I think an easier way to think about it, because it's individual. Remember when I said it's 1 gram per pound of goal body weight? So if you have 2,000 calories in a day and you want to weigh 150 pounds, you have 150 grams of protein to consume. Now there's 4 calories in 1 gram of protein. So you multiply that
600
by the 4. So that's your calories and protein that is allotted per day.
Right? But divide that into grams. Again, it's 150. So now I take my 2,000 number and I subtract 600 because we got rid of those protein. That leaves us 1,400 to go. Okay? So now we have to divide that evenly between our carbs and our fats.
Yeah. Preference.
So I think, let's do 33%.
Yeah.
So what I did was 1,400 times 33%, and that gives me 462 grams of carbs. I'm going to divide that by 4 because there's 4 grams of carbs. You see how different? That's 115 grams of carbs. Okay, so we have 150 grams of protein, 115 grams of carbs. Our last one is fat. Okay, so 462 plus.
We're all good at math here, right? We're all really good at math.